So here we are talking about how to stay positive and in a positive mind frame when you've got a bunch of kids in the background
Yeah.
trying to figure out, what their online learning tasks are for the day and possibly a spouse in the house. How do you do it? How do you stay positive? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, Jesse, I'm a mom first and foremost. That's like a job title that's never going to go away, no matter what role I have
No
for
matter
my
which room
career.
you hide in.
Yeah, no matter what. And I actually kind of like working from home. It does give me those moments during the day. Sometimes if I'm actually having a bit of a struggle and I go down and I give my kids a hug or just see them and see how happy they are, that really actually boosts my mood up, and I can really remember what my focus is, what I'm here for, which is to be successful. If I'm successful in my career, then I'm going to be a successful mom. I'm going to be able to be a great role model for them, and they can see how hard their mom worked and provided for them. So my kids are a huge inspiration for me, although they are a distraction at times too. What about you, Jess?
Yeah, I mean, people often ask me like how I keep things together, and how I keep positive, but to me, it's like people focus on exercising, right, for their body, right, to stay in shape. And likewise, I look at it, having that positive mind frame is also exercise. It's work. It takes practice. It's not like,
True.
it's not as easy to say like, oh, just be positive. Well, how do you become positive, right?
Yeah.
How does that happen? And I think it's a transition. Like first you have to want to, right?
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge that you can't stay in a rut, and that yes, there's a lot of external factors happening, getting news updates throughout the day and all of those things. So how I did it, I think it was just incremental. I just made the decision that I wanted to be a positive person, and that I felt that if I continued being positive and keeping a very level head, that it would take me a lot further and I'd be more successful in the things that I was doing because I could focus more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being negative takes your focus away from the things that you need to do because you don't feel good about yourself. You don't feel good about your situation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
part of that is also building your confidence. I think those two things go hand in hand. And the way you build confidence is by doing the little things and basically proving to yourself that when you set a goal, as small or as big as it is, when you achieve that goal, it adds to your confidence. And so now, after a few of those things, you can say, well, every time that I set a goal and I say I'm going to do something, I commit to it, I stay positive, I achieve it. And so my confidence in myself also starts to, rise and develop.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think being confident will also contribute to being positive. And it's like this back and forth thing that like feeds each, one thing. And that's how I do it. I just, on a day-to-day basis, say, this is what I'm going to do. I do it. And because I did it, I feel good about myself, right? I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm working towards something, and it
Yeah.
helps me to keep positive, even though there's a lot of stuff going on.
I think for me, I like a lot of women, struggled with my identity, low self-confidence, low self-esteem. I think being a teenager is hard, boy or girl or man or woman. And for me, I did change a lot, and it rocked my confidence, and it took a long time to really build that back up, to know who I am. And somebody gave me advice once of just really know who you are. Like, what is your core identity? Who are you as a person? And if you really know what that is and who you are, it doesn't matter what winds come along or what changes happen, you're rooted in your identity. If being confident and grateful and joyful are things that are really important for you, you need to practice that no matter what happens. We've all, especially being in business, we've all had, clients maybe that didn't go the way that we wanted, or deals we weren't able to finalize. And it's okay to be upset about it, but that doesn't change who you are. It's just a circumstance external to who you are.
I always say everything is temporary. Nothing
Yeah.
lasts forever, you know? So that means that the good times and the bad times,
Yeah.
it's all temporary. It comes, it goes, but you know, being a positive person, having that self-confidence and belief in yourself, is internal, right? That's
Mhm.
all internal,
Yeah.
regardless of the external.
Yeah.
So it's something that, like I said, you do have to build up to it, and it is a constant practice. Just like if you go to the gym, you know, and you work out, you have
Yeah.
to also surround yourself with the right people. Again, it goes, you know, goes in here, right?
Yeah. It is like building a muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen to positive podcasts, listen to whatever it is, right? But like feed your mind the things that you want to think about. And you will. You'll end up thinking about it more and more, and then you'll end up attracting exactly what it is that you're searching for, right? So it all goes together, but it's a daily practice
Yeah.
that I know for myself. That's what I do, and it's been really helpful for me.
I was going to say, I also, something that like really made me think was somebody had said to me once, like, who are the top 5 people who are in your life? You know, who have you surrounded yourself with? You know, was it your partner, your friends? You know, you can't necessarily choose your family, or you can't choose your family, but who are the 5 people you can rely on? Who are the 5 people that you talk to? And if your goals for yourself are here, but the people you're talking to are maybe, you know, negative talking, always complaining about life, then you're going to go down to their level. But if you want to be here and you're talking to people who are up here, you're going to do what you can to get up there. So it is who you surround yourself with. And on those days that I struggle or that I find it hard, you know, working from home can be challenging. Sometimes I call you, Jesse, because you're always a light. You always have a positive attitude. You're always giving me really insightful ideas. And I'm really grateful to have you as a, you know, part of a core people that I talk to, but also really good friends. My sister, usually it is like-minded women. Not that talking to a man is any less, but I think women definitely understand that bit of a struggle you have with being a number 1 mom, but also wanting to, you know, be a career person as well.
100%. And that's why I think it's really important for women who are at the top of their game not to forget, you know, the women who are still on their way up. And that's why I created the along with some other women in the auto industry, Canadian Women in Automotive. So I encourage, you know, women and men who support our cause to join the group. That's a safe place to share and to find common ground. And I know a lot of the women on there are more than willing, including myself, you know, to share our experiences and to help anybody however we can. It's part of the reason I joined the recruitment business, because I felt I had a lot closer ties to being able to help more women get into those high level positions, but also my colleagues in the industry. And man, I had no idea that, you know, it would be so needed during this time when there's a lot of people that are, you know, searching for their next
Opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think one of the great things I've felt so far is just some of the love that you get for helping people, and this desire, like as a mom, I think, or as a woman, or maybe just me as a person, I can't quantify and say it's because I'm a woman or a mom, but I really love to help people. And knowing that you are making a difference, helping somebody find their next opportunity is just really fulfilling. You know, obviously I'm career oriented and I want to, you know, be successful, but if I'm helping people at the same time, it's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah, and you put yourself in this position, right? Like,
Right.
I think even before you joined Auto Careers Group, you were already in that mind frame, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think it's a surprise why people end up where they are. It's really based on what's going through your mind and what it is that you want to be doing, because that's the direction you're looking in, whether it's positive or negative. And
Yeah.
that's where you're going to end up. So I think you were doing a lot of work, and practicing that positive mental mind frame, being strong,
Yeah.
as a person, knowing who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Going for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, like sometimes I am talking to women in the automotive industry and they do feel a little like unsure. They're unsure to go, if they should go for that management role. There's used to being that support, that advisor or that assistant or that admin. And to be able to say, you are skilled. I've seen so many resumes and you are the most qualified. You need to step into your power. As a woman, it doesn't matter, if you've only done support. That doesn't mean you have to stay in that supporting role. It's about what you want and the work you're willing to do to get to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm rah for women, as we know. However, it's also going to take a lot of work. We have to be realistic and say, if you want to get here, these are the steps to getting there, and this is how much work it's going to take. Are you in? And if you're all in, you will find a lot of support along the way. And we're there to give that advice, however we can, for sure. But you're right, Lori. I mean, in my time with Auto Careers Group, I have noticed that and a lot of the work that we do is on a management level, right? I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but the resumes that we receive, it's mostly men still. Right. On when we're looking at management. And I've noticed that, and I'm like, but why aren't they even applying? Like, I know that there's women out there.
Yeah.
I know that there is. Why aren't they even applying? And I think the reason is because women tend to count themselves out. So when they look at the job description and it says, these are the requirements, A, B, C, D, if they see that there's even one requirement
that they don't have,
it's like, oh, nope, I don't qualify, so I'm not even going to apply. And on the reverse, a man might look at it, and I've had this happen so many times, so I'm not like being biased here. They will reach out and try and sell me, even though they're not qualified. Try and sell me on why they think they are qualified. So they're looking at it from a different lens. And I think as women, we have to do a better job at stopping ourselves, from not moving ahead. It's not the other people. It starts with you. So if you're not willing to even apply and get yourself out there, then you're not going to be able to reach your long-term goals that you might be seeking, right? It's that mental break that we have. It's usually ourselves that stops us from, progressing to our full potential.
I 100% agree. And I can't even tell you how many things I've read about, whether you want to say you're your own worst enemy, or you're saying no to yourself before you even took a chance, before you even called, before you even submitted your resume, you're saying no. You're gonna get you're gonna get 100% no for all of the chances that you don't take. If you take a chance and it's a no, or you take a chance, it's 50-50. If you say no before you even started, it's going to be a no. So we definitely have to be more open, and network as well. Having those conversations, even reaching out to a recruiter, talking to somebody, you may not see those opportunities. And I think one of the things that is so good about what we do is we have a lot of opportunities that you can't find anywhere else. You can't find them on LinkedIn or Indeed or Glassdoor. We know about those opportunities. So if you reach out to a recruiter, and I do get way more male resumes than female resumes, but just reaching out, then we can help you connect the dots. Hey, you know what? I think you would be good for this role. And it's just taking a step forward. just reaching out, asking for some help, asking for some guidance, and somebody like you or me or anyone in our team would be more than happy. We definitely aren't biased on gender or any other criteria. You know, we're open as long as you have the experience. Yeah.
100%. And you never know where something can lead. And in our industry, and not just in our industry, just like across the board, it's how many times do you hear it's about who you know, right?
Yeah,
it's about who
that's
you
true.
know. So
Yeah.
who do you know,
Yeah.
right? Knowing us, who knows other people, that's one.
Yeah.
That's one
way. Yeah.
You know, staying in touch with relevant people that can help you along the way in your career, that's another way. You know, don't lose touch with them.
And don't burn bridges either. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, like just because you might be leaving a job and you weren't happy there, if, you know, have a good relationship with the GM or the principal or somebody else, because they may not stay where they are either. So, you know, just touch base. Sometimes I actually go through my phone and just be like, you know, who can I reach out to? Who can I talk to? Who have I not thought of, you know? And, you know, sometimes I'll just send random message, not random because I know who they are, but, you know, just a random reach out, you know? And sometimes for me, even it's checking in. Hey, how are you doing? How's it going with the second lockdown? How are you feeling? You know, and it's not even like a sell or a network. It's like genuine care and concern, or genuine just interest in what's going on in your life. So don't be afraid to reach out to people, even if you haven't talked to them in a few years, you know, that they may be thinking about you too.
You honestly never know who they know also, and what opportunities there might be. I mean, it's just, but you gotta take the first step in putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes it might feel like you're being a bit vulnerable. So what? If you have a goal and you want to grow your career, you're just going to have to get over it and force yourself to do the things that you got to do to make it happen, right? I don't want to sound like a motivational speaker here, but get it into gear and do what it takes, right? Because the people that do will get to where they need to go. And if you're not willing to do those things, then you're going to stay stagnant, right? And you can't complain about it. It's not the market, you know, it's not the economy, it's not anything other than you and what you're willing to do to contribute to your own success. So take advantage of the people that are around you and willing to help. I bet you anything, more people are willing to help you than you even know.
Exactly. I had that one time where I just reached out and it was just explaining to my friend, and it was just like, hey, how are you? And I expressed how I really was. I think women especially were always like, yeah, everything's great, everything's fine, everything's okay. But really underneath, there's probably a whole bunch of other things swirling and going on. And I actually reached out and I said something very specific. And this person gave me exactly the advice I needed, was able to really help me. And it was very vulnerable to admit that I needed help, that everything wasn't perfect, but I can't tell you how valuable it was just to have somebody just be able to support me in that moment. If I hadn't been vulnerable, if I hadn't let my guard down, I wouldn't have got that feedback that was so helpful.
Yeah, I mean, life isn't peaches, you know.
Are you sure?
There are very hard moments that a lot of the time, you know, you can't even control. Things that happen to your family members, to your friends, right? Things do happen along the way. So I'm not, you know, I'm very aware that it's not as easy as just do it, right?
Yeah.
You gotta work up to it. But if you make that decision for yourself and start slowly moving in that direction, it'll be better than if you just, you know, give up and just say, well, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. And
well, I think one of the first things I really got on, I guess, for me in my positive attitude, or just, you know, changing my mindset, was I read a book by Brene Brown. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of her, but one of the things she said is it's not possible to turn off one emotion. So if you're feeling like vulnerable and you don't want to be sad, you can't just turn off the sad emotion. It's like, oh, I want to feel everything but sad. But the truth is if you numb one emotion, you actually numb all of your emotions. So if you're not willing to be vulnerable and be open, you're never going to experience full joy and full happiness, because you're always holding back a little bit. So, you know, if you really want to be joyful and if you really want to be happy and feel those feelings, you also need to be open to feeling the other stuff that might not be so enjoyable, but it helps you get to there. So feeling maybe a little bit sad, you know, I had a client that didn't turn out so well. I felt sad for a minute, but I let myself feel that. I let myself say, you know, it's okay to be upset or be vulnerable in that moment. Now I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to move on. If I pretended it didn't bug me, it would niggle away at me until it came out in a different way. And usually those kind of feelings, when you try to stuff them down, they actually do come out in a much stronger way in the future.
And a lot of the times, like, everything that we go through is because we're learning, right?
Yeah.
So every situation, every, you know, bump along the way, every time we're disappointed, it's part of our journey. It's part of us learning. And perhaps it wasn't meant to go that way because there's bigger and better things, you know, for you. I mean, I truly, truly believe that everything we go through is, you know, just getting us ready for the next thing, the next thing, and the next thing. So again, it's your belief system, you know, as to why these things happen. And I always say to myself, have I been through bad times before? You know, yes. Have I been in a mental space where I just don't see a solution? I don't see a way out. I feel very, very sad and bad about myself. Have I been there before? Yes. You know, but have I also found my way out of it?
Yeah.
Yes. And have I also set massive goals, you know, and worked towards it? Yes. So if I was there before and I was able to get myself out of it, I should have the confidence that I'll be able to get myself out of those situations again, and hopefully get myself into those situations less and less and less as I get older and mature.
I think one of my favorite quotes is, you know, my success rate of getting over bad days is 100%. Like, I've always gotten through the bad times. I've always gotten through those bad days, the bad moments, the deals that didn't go so well, the expectations that weren't met, you know, whatever it is, it sucked in the moment, definitely hurt or whatever it is, but I'm still here. I'm still standing. I still got a smile on my face. You know, sometimes I have a smile and tears at the same time, you know.
You're smiling.
But you know, it just, yeah, you just have to keep going through. I think this has been an amazing talk, Jessie, and I think it's going to really impact a lot of people and women, and I'm so glad we've had this chance to have this chat.
Yeah, because I mean, if we feel this way, I'm sure so many other women feel this way. I don't care who you are, if you're human, you know, if you've got things going on like we do, you're probably in the same boat. So there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we have to lean on each other to get us through, and to pay it forward. So with that, Lori, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you too, Jessie.
Let's do it again soon.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.